presents to you Honest Talk.
Hi folks, today we are back with one more great personality, Mr. Mihir Koltharkar. Mihir Koltharkar is a highly accomplished and a renowned international corporate trainer and keynote speaker with a rich experience spanning 20 years, conducting 2,000 plus sessions in 9 countries. As an internationally recognized trainer in sales and negotiation, Mihir delivers in his unique and engaging way the powerful principles which can accelerate organizational growth. He has a proven track record of growing the organizational revenues spanning sectors. He has authored Impossible Sales and has been a speaker on the World SME Summit. He has spoken on TED thrice and has received the Global Training and Development Leadership Award. Media calls him Mr. Sales and Smiling Buddha of Sales. So, let's begin our talk with Mr. Mihir Koltharkar.
So first of all, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to add value to people's life through this online medium.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure too. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is importance of negotiation skill and how to develop them. Sir, as we all know that you are into this field from many long years. So I request you to, sir, kindly tell our viewers how important are good negotiation skill for a business.
So, Harsh, if you look at the current situation, the pandemic, I think negotiation skills are of utmost importance, at least in this particular era. The reason being is that, whenever anyone starts any business, the sole objective of that particular business is to make profits. Right? So, in order to make profits, there are only two things that can be done. One is increase sales, which increases the turnover, and obviously the profits would increase. Second is to reduce the cost. Okay. If any organization is able to do both, that is increase the turnover and simultaneously reduce the cost, then obviously the profits are going to be higher. In this particular pandemic, since maybe February onwards, you must have also heard that so many organizations, they decided to close down their operations. And the only reason why this happened was because they did not have enough of cash flow. They did not have enough of funds with them. I think one of the most important lessons for any business right now has been that it is not the turnover which matters. It is the net profits which matter. So I think in businesses, negotiation is the key element. If you are able to negotiate well, then you will be able to close more deals. You will be able to close more deals profitably. And both these things are very important when you look at increasing the turnover. The second is obviously reducing the costs. So, if you are able to go ahead and reduce the cost even by, let's say, 10% or 20%, then that amount is actually your savings now. And that savings can help you to sustain and then obviously grow at a later stage. So, negotiation is a very critical element when it comes to business.
All right, sir. It was really a very wonderful answer from your side. I think those who are watching this session, of course, they are going to learn much from this session. Sir, in same context, my next question to you is, sir, what do you believe, what is the most important thing in negotiation?
Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of important things which are there in negotiation. But if you look at the topmost elements per se, then the topmost element is planning. Most of these people who are negotiating right now, they do not have any kind of formal training or formal learning about negotiation. Negotiation sales is not usually something which gets taught in our colleges or in our school or even sometimes during our MBAs. And people, they go on the job and when they start interacting with other people professionally, they start negotiating. And some of these negotiations, they go very well, some of them don't. And they only learn from their experiences. But why not invest into proper training about negotiation? If they are able to do that, then they will get so much of knowledge which is there in the world. and utilize that knowledge for enhancing their own career as well as the business, both. So planning is something which is very, very, very critical. I'll give you an example. Let's say, there are these units that are situated at the border and they are placed at the border. Let's assume that one such army unit is, and the commander of that army unit gets an information from the headquarters saying that there is a terrorist camp which is just nearby. Now, the commander of this army unit is not just going to say, oh, there is a terrorist camp, so let's go over there and let's attack. They would probably send 1 or 2 people to do a reco, to see how many people are there, how many terrorists are there, what are the arms and ammunition that they are carrying, what is the terrain, where are they hiding, what is the location, and all of that. And then they would bring back that information and then go ahead and then plan their attack. They would not just rush in. The same kind of approach also needs to be for negotiation. Whenever you want to negotiate, you cannot just rush in for a negotiation. You need to gather information, you need to understand what is the personality type of a particular person, or you need to understand how is their negotiation style, what are they expecting, what are our strengths, what are their strengths, and then gather all that ammunition and then go and sit in for a negotiation. So planning is the most critical element for negotiation. Without planning, nothing can happen. Yeah. So you should not let luck or luck govern your decisions. Or you cannot say that let's see what happens over there and be reactive.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a very wonderful answer from your side. Sir, as you have mentioned that this negotiation skill we never in school, colleges never taught us. So, sir, why student must learn strong negotiation skills in their college days? Sir, what do you believe on it?
I think that it is something which you should learn probably when you are in school. Okay. Because in college, after college, you either have your own business or you either appear for interviews and you get placed. At that point of time, you would be negotiating about your job profile. Most importantly, you would be negotiating about your salary, right? And I think it is very important to know what are your strengths and what are the things that they are looking out for. If you are able to match the need and the requirement and you are able to position yourself as someone who's going to be a very valuable asset to the organization, then obviously you can get more salary. The management also recognizes that if a college pass out can have such kind of negotiation skills, and if we can develop those negotiation skills by giving opportunities, then this person is going to be a very, very, very valuable asset for our management team. And that opens up your career. So I think it is very important to showcase it, that you are serious about it, you know your skills, you know how to negotiate, you know how to sell, and it is, I think, very, very, very important.
Again, sir, it was really a very great answer, and the kind of energy you have is really inspiring for all of us, sir. Sir, my next question to you is, sir, what are the rules of negotiation?
Okay. Now this is very interesting because I have met a lot of negotiators and a lot of professional negotiators. There are so many different types of negotiators, and these types of negotiators are based on it is actually based on their personality type. That is one. Second is it is also governed by the culture and the tradition of the country. So you will find that Russian negotiators, they act a bit differently. The Indian negotiators, they act a bit differently. The negotiators from the Middle East, they act a bit differently. Negotiators from China, they act a bit differently, and they have their own specific style of negotiation. If you have not researched about it, then it is going to create lot of problems per se. So I think when you look at negotiation, there are several elements that need to be looked into, and if you are able to do that, then you are successful. If not, then it is a risk, it is a chance that is there.
All right, sir. As you have mentioned that you met with many type of negotiation from different countries. So, sir, my next question to you: what are the qualities of good negotiator?
So, qualities of good negotiator. A good negotiator will always try to maximize the output of this. They know their objectives. They know that this is my bottom line and this is my top line, and I should aim for my top line. I should not aim for the bottom line. So even if, let's say, they come up with this, that this is my bottom line, this is my top line, and the other person says, let's meet halfway, they will not agree to it. They will still try to touch base and go ahead and say that from the half line till the top line, how much can we negotiate? So they are very careful about meeting their objectives, and they will also be very considerate about people's objectives. So both are important. There are some negotiators who are very, very, very professional negotiators, but they may or may not have ethics. So there are sometimes that dirty tricks are played. And these dirty tricks can be very devastating for someone who does not know negotiation professionally. I'll give you an example for this. So, and these kind of negotiators, you will find these kind of negotiators that they would probably call you for a negotiation, and it would be someone from the senior management. So maybe the CEO or maybe the director of that particular level, and they would say that, okay, I would like to meet you and discuss and finalize and close things. So if you are the sales professional or you are the purchase head, you are going to be very excited. You are saying that, okay, wow, I'm going to go in, have a meet, and then the deal is going to be done. So you go in with that kind of expectation. They would probably call you in the morning. You go in over there and you sit. So the secretary would come in, it would offer you maybe tea, coffee, water, and give you a very comfortable place to sit and say that, just wait. The chairman is busy, the chairman is occupied, just wait. So you would be waiting. And if you have entered at 10, at 11, they would again come back to you and they would say that the chairman is still a bit occupied. We need to wait. And then obviously you cannot do anything, so you will wait. Then the lunch time will happen. At the lunch time, they will give you nice lunch. So they will give you, maybe order some nice dishes for you and everything. And they would say that the chairman is really very sorry because there are some important visitors who have come in, so you just wait. And wait, it will go on till evening. Okay. Now, let's assume that if you have gone there at 10 in the morning and it is 6 in the evening right now, and all you are doing is you are just waiting. You are mentally frustrated. You are saying that, come on, I came here for a deal and the deal is not happening. Will that deal happen today or no? I told my colleagues, I told my boss that I am going to close the deal, and now I don't know what is going to happen. So you are in that kind of mental frame. You're frustrated, you're eager, you're excited, and you're scared. All the emotions are running at once. And then there would be a call from the chairman. Say that, okay, we just have 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we have to close the deal. Come on. Now you will rush in over there. And now, because of that eagerness, excitement, frustration, you are not going to sit for a proper negotiation. You would give a lot of concessions just because you want to close that deal and go from there. Now, this is a strategy. It is not a coincidence. It is a strategy. It was already thought of that you would be called in the morning, you would be asked to wait till the evening, and then we should negotiate in the evening, and we will give you only 5 minutes to negotiate. For a new person who does not know that this is a dirty trick, for the new person, they would think that probably this happened. But a professional one would understand that this is a dirty trick. And the professional one would safeguard themselves. Because if they know that, I know that this person is playing dirty, and I know that I will have to wait over here, so let me do my other work. When they will open the laptop, they will start doing their other work and they will be very happy. So they will show to the management, they will show to the secretary that no worries, if you want me to wait, no worries, I will wait. As in it is, there is a lot of work which I have, so I will complete my pending work, and you are happy with it. Now the management will also start thinking that we want to frustrate this person, but this person is not getting frustrated. So what can we do? Okay, so that's how you kind of counter such kind of dirty tricks which are there. But there are so many dirty tricks. This is just one of them which I shared right now. So as a new person, you need to be aware of what are the kind of dirty tricks so that you can avoid the traps of negotiation.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a great answer, and the example which you have given is really a very. I think those who are watching, our viewers, learn from it. Sir, my next question to you, sir, what is the difference between bargaining and negotiation?
Oh, okay. So the ideal definition of negotiation is the art of bargaining. So negotiation means the art of bargaining. How do you bargain? Bargaining everyone can do. Today also you go to even maybe the vegetable vendor. You can bargain over there. But the bargaining is all about price. When you look at negotiation per se, and this is like a commonly understood kind of thing. So someone says that let's bargain. The automatic thought process is bargaining means bargain about the price. But when you look at negotiation is not about price. Negotiation goes much beyond price. There can be so many different elements which are there. So let's say you want to buy a TV and you want to buy a TV now, today. So you go in over there and you go to a TV shop and you see a lot of TVs which are there. So you would ask the person, okay, so tell me about this TV or tell me about that TV. The person will give you all the information. And then you will see that, this looks nice. And then you will also check the price range. Let's say you look at the price point and you say, okay, this price is also okay with me. Then you will ask the person, give me a better deal. What kind of discount can you give me? What additional things can you give me? So the person says, I'll give you a home theater along with the TV. Now you're very happy with it. You said that, okay, at this price, if I'm getting a TV, I'm getting a home theater. Fantastic, that's a great deal. So I will say, okay, let's purchase and go ahead and send that TV. So I will take that TV with me. The person says, no, this cannot happen because this is a showroom piece. We cannot give you a showroom piece. So now you place the order, your TV will get delivered to you within the next 7 days. So you say, no, 7 days. I'm ready to pay now. I want a TV now. And the person says, no, but once we place the order, the process is like this, and it will go over there, and it will go to this particular place, and then that person. So there is a process involved. Now, what are you going to negotiate on? You are going to negotiate not on the price. You are negotiating on the delivery. And that point of time, you may say that, okay, is there any way? Maybe I can pay a bit extra, and then you give that TV to me tomorrow. Is there a way? So you're going to try and find out what is the way forward. How can you work together? Because the salesperson wants to sell, you want to purchase, and there is a process. So all three things are put together. This is one of the examples where it is not just about price, but it is about the other elements which are there. So negotiation is the art of bargaining. How do you bargain?
All right, sir. You have very clearly explained the difference between negotiation and what is bargaining, and also explained the definition of negotiation, which comes from bargaining, the art of bargaining. Sir, my next question to you: how to develop and improve the negotiation skills?
So one is the awareness is the first step towards change. A lot of people that I encounter, or those people who come to my session, most of them are not aware of what they don't know. So first understanding that yes, I don't know this, and that's the first step to learn something. But if you don't know what you don't know, then you would be like, I know everything. So to be a better negotiator, you need to understand different aspects which are involved in negotiation. I'll give you an example. So let's say you take an athlete, Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is the fastest human being for a 100-meter or a 200-meter race. For him, even reducing his time by 1 second is a world record. So even reducing the entire time by 1 second is a world record. But to reduce that 1 second, is it going to be easy? No, because now he has to look at, is my weight ideal? Okay. the position that I'm running, the angle which I'm running, the shoes which I have, okay, my motion, the hand gestures which are there. So every single aspect, every single element, he has to take care of to reduce even 1 second and to enhance his performance. So like that, when you look at negotiation, there are so many different elements that you need to look at and constantly improve in order to have a better negotiation. So one of the most common thing is probably having an improved communication skills. Today, if I'm sitting and the other person is sitting and we do not know body language, or we do not know how to read each other's body language, then things are going to be very difficult, because I will not know what is exactly going on in this person's mind. But if I know how to read body language, just by looking at that person or by looking at the gestures, I can understand that probably this person is thinking like this, or I should say something like this. And that is going to help build rapport. So if the rapport is not built, negotiation can never happen. So it is very important to look at communication skills. How do you project your personality? How do you plan things accordingly? Do you know of several tools, techniques, strategies which are used in negotiation? Do you know the dirty tricks? So there are hundreds of things which come into play. If you want to be a better negotiator, you have to look at all the hundreds of things. Only then you will be a better negotiator.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a very wonderful answer from your side. I'd rather say it's our privilege to listen from you today. Sir, I don't want to take your much time. So moving to my last question of the day of this session. The question is, sir, as we all know, the pandemic is still, we are continuing this pandemic. So, sir, people are facing challenges. Many organizations are laying their employees and facing challenges. So, what, as we all know, you are well-known international corporate trainer. So, what will be your advice to them?
I think that most of the people who are facing challenges right now, the only objective is to make sure that you are surviving the pandemic, you are equipping yourself and you get prepared yourself for the future. And that is very, very, very critical. So look around, see what is happening, how can you upgrade your skill sets, anticipate what kind of skill sets will be in demand, and then position yourself accordingly. For all those people who were so busy earlier and now they have some time, so try to think of even your well-being. If you had thought that, okay, I want to read a lot of books, but I don't get time to read books, now you have time. So read books, okay? Improve your knowledge, get some nice skill sets. I think training or upskilling or gathering information or getting some certificates or pursuing some education part of it, or even cultivating a hobby. I think all of these things were earlier put on the back seat. And now all of those things can be again put in the front seat. So don't lose hope. These are the things which keep on happening. Just live with it. I have a mantra. So the mantra is that if nothing can be done about it, then don't stress about it. If nothing can be done about it, don't stress about it, because you cannot do anything about it, right? So, and if something can be done about it, then do it. So that is the best way to keep yourself very happy and smiling. So today, I know that there are so many people who are worried about when this corona thing is going to end, when is the vaccine going to come, okay, what is going to happen the next year, and all of that. You cannot do anything about it. So why worry about it? When it will come, it will come. Be prepared, saying that, okay, it is not going to come for some time, and prepare yourself for how you can be better facing the future. Probably look at, there are so many people who are employed and who are currently not employed, who may have lost their jobs or something. I always believe that where there is a will, there is a way. You want to earn money? No problem. You can earn money. You just need to find the right kind of way, and you need to be committed towards it. So that's what would matter. If you look at the corona part of it also, consider my industry. I've been into the training domain for the last 20 years. I've been always been on the stage, and now it is probably the longest time. I think from March onwards. So my last session was in March. That's where I was on the stage, and from March onwards till now, I have not been on the stage. Is it difficult? Yes, it is very difficult. Do I miss stage? Yeah, a lot. I don't know, but when all these things are going to change, and when the rules and regulations are going to change, I don't know about. So what do I do? Should I keep on worrying about it? No, I can't keep on worrying about it, because even if I worry, nothing is going to happen. So what do? You adapt, you change, you learn. I have managed to publish my one book during this pandemic, which is Impossible Sales. My second book is almost on the verge of completion, and that is going to be The Powerful Negotiator. I launched my online courses. I am doing online training sessions, and there is a video course which is now going to come up very soon. So it is just a mindset. It is just a mindset. What can you do? You need to think about it and do it. That's it.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a very great message from your side, and I request to our viewers, those who are watching this session, take these mantras and into their life, and also read your book, which is Impossible Sales. It is really a very great book, and upcoming books of sir, which is Powerful Negotiator. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for joining. It was really a great session with you. It was indeed our pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Harsh. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much.
And all the best for your career and your professional life.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.